I recently read Company of One by Paul Jarvis. One morning, Jarvis went surfing with his accountant friend. As they waited for the next good wave, his friend turned to him and said, "I'm stoked. I've just made enough to take the rest of the year off and go rock climbing." It was August. At the beginning of that year, his friend had determined how much money his accounting business needed to generate to cover his living expenses and meet his investment goals for the year. Now that he'd reached his goal, he felt no pressure to push for more clients, hire more employees, or open up a new office in a different city. Doing so would just mean more headache and more money he didn't need. Plus, if he'd become too obsessed with growth, he might jeopardize his entire business. When Inc. magazine followed 5,000 fast-growing companies, they found that 8 years later, more than 2/3 of them were out of business, had undergone massive layoffs, or had been sold below their market value. A study of 3,200 high-growth startups found that 74% of those businesses failed, not because of competition or bad business plans, but because they scaled up too quickly. This is why we need to question growth. However, staying small on purpose and adopting what author Paul Jarvis calls a company of one mentality might be the healthiest thing you can do for your business and your life. Now, you don't have to be a one-person company to be a company of one. Any small business with 5 or 20 people can operate like a company of one. The key to being a company of one is making 3 fundamental shifts: better, not bigger; retention, not acquisition; and autonomy, not ego. Better, not bigger. There are 2 taps in business you can turn: the rapid growth tab or the profit tab. If you turn the rapid growth tab and leave it on too long, then try to turn on the profit tab, you may only get out a few drops or nothing at all. Uber sought out rapid growth and undercut competitors for years by operating at a loss in the hope that they could charge more later when people were used to using their service. But in the last 2 years, as Uber's tried to make the transition from a rapidly growing company to a profitable company, they've had to raise their rates, and their profits are far less than they expected. Company of One focuses on building a better product for fewer customers, so they have a higher profit margin. A Company of One takes on few customers and works with those customers to better understand their problem, then finds creative ways to solve their core problem with as few input costs as possible. Lowering input costs typically means leveraging low-cost technology like Shopify or finding high-quality contractors on Fiverr and freelance.com to build products without taking on excessive overhead. They might get someone to click on their ad and buy what they have to offer, but the relationship probably won't last very long. A Company of One plays the long game and aims to build lifelong relationships with their customers that result in repeat sales and referrals to family and friends. A Company of One lays the foundation for a lifelong relationship by creating educational campaigns, not mass marketing campaigns. A realtor with a Company of One mentality might give free webinars that give people market updates or insider knowledge on how to make money investing in properties without pushing anyone to hire them as their realtor. By educating potential customers, you display competence and empathy for your customers' problems, which happen to be the 2 primary ingredients of trust. When people trust you, they are willing to pay more for your product, buy from you again and again, and recommend your product to others. In a sense, customers who trust you become your unpaid sales force. A survey in the book found that 50% of new customers for service-based companies come from word of mouth. Number 3, autonomy, not ego. Jarvis says, culturally, growth feeds our ego and social standing. The bigger the company you own with more profits and more employees than the next person, the better you feel. But satisfying the ego comes at a cost. In the pursuit of more, you have more people to manage, more problems to think about, and less time to do what you want when you want. The extra money you earn from a big business might allow you and your family to go on a nice vacation, but you don't get to enjoy it because you spend the entire vacation answering phone calls and responding to urgent emails. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits and founder of a successful online business, says, instead of thinking, what product can I create or what service can I offer, think, what type of life do I want and how do I want to spend my days? Then work backwards from there into a business model that allows you to create scalable systems to deliver your product to your audience. Clear learned this lesson the hard way. At one point, he was obsessed with growing his business, and it was consuming all of his time. So he created 2 rules. Rule number 1. All products must require little to no management. Clear created digital courses with pre-recorded videos and no live training. These rules allowed Clear to pay his bills and make time for what he wanted to do most: research and write. In the end, if you have a product or service/skill set and a market that's willing to pay for it, focus on better, not bigger. Customer retention and referrals, not mass marketing. And autonomy, not ego. Determine how much your business needs to make for you to have the lifestyle you want, and question every growth opportunity along the way. Jarvis says, if you ever stop questioning the need for growth, you run the risk that the beast of growth will devour you and your whole business. That was the core message that I gathered from Company of One by Paul Jarvis.